Trees are beautiful and most assuredly essential to our survival. They provide us with oxygen, shade, and hold the ground together where otherwise it would slide. They filter the dirty air and dirty water to a degree or extent we have no clue. Their wood frames our houses and structures and makes our cabinets, doors, trim, and furniture. Paper and cardboard, bags and boxes help us carry things. Wooden boxes and pallets too. We wipe and clean with wood paper, tissues, and communicate on paper, parchment, and keep words and books by saying. Along with water, food, and air, trees are truly essential to our survival and much of the animal world too. But in our civilian lives, our trees can pose a problem, especially when our tree's limbs hangs over our neighbors' yards. Well, here lies an oak limb that fell from our oak tree, called by law boundary tree, because it's on the boundary between neighbors. In this case, the limb crossed two neighbors' yards, and when she fell, took out 3 sections of one neighbor's fence and poked a hole in the other neighbor's shed roof. Sorry for the laughter, but this is why you must be aware. Excuse me. Generally, and I explained this to my 2 neighbors, there's a funny limb law. Yes, the law of limbs is funny. The law, generally, regarding limbs of such boundary trees is that the neighbor whose land the limb hangs over has a right to trim such limbs. And if such limbs are dead and or pose a danger to person and or property, such right becomes almost a duty to trim the limb. Hence, the owner of the tree is not liable for such overhanging limbs. In essence, it is incumbent upon the landowner who has limbs hanging over his property from a neighboring tree to trim them, especially when they pose a threat. Common etiquette does tell him to ask the neighbor who owns the tree, and ownership is by where the trunk of the tree sets. And it's always, good etiquette to ask the tree owner or tell him that you're about to cut his tree. But you can never cut or trim the branches of a tree that overhang into your yard to the point where you'll do irreparable harm to the tree or kill it. So you must be careful. You can trim away dead and threatening limbs, but don't hurt the tree. And that basically is the general law of the land. I looked this up, of course, but you should look it up too, for wherever state you live in. That's it on trees. Excuse me for all the laughter. I have some kind of crazy sense of humor. Thank you. Have a good day. And love your trees. Even your neighbors.